Rev up your engines!
Well, personally, I had to see it to believe it. Well, I believe it now. It turns out that a lot of people are buying cars from Costco. You know, they're buying toilet paper. Well, with the pandemic, they weren't just lining outside the Costco's to buy stuff. They're also using Costco to buy cars, new or used. 2020 Costco members bought more than 689,000 cars, which is a 12% increase over what they did in 2019. Now, what you do is you go through Costco and you tell them what you want, and they claim that they can save you an average of about $1,000 out of the price of what you want. They set up the whole deal, and then you go to the dealership and check out the car. It's not like you signed any kind of contract. It's just done through Costco, and you don't have to buy the car. It's not like you went into a car lot and then they say, well, you sign on the dotted line and we'll give you this $1,000 discount. No, it's all set up, and then you can buy it through them. The range of the vehicles they're selling are cars from $20,000 to over $100,000, and they're used or new. Who would have thought that Costco was going to get in the used car and the new car sales business? But I guess if somebody's got a way to make money. That reminds me of ages ago, I had a friend who bought a car from this used car dealer in Houston, and I said, well, where'd you buy it? And he said, well, this guy's kind of interesting. What he does is, if you sell him your old car at the trade-in value that the dealership's going to do it, he sets up the deal to buy you a new car at the dealer, and he guarantees you he's going to save you at least $1,000. The guy was a professional car sales guy. He knew his stuff. He had his own car lot, so he knew how to barter with the dealerships, and that's what he did. And then how he made his profit was he got your trade-in at the dealer trade-in cost, and then he'd sell it for twice what he paid for it. So he had a pretty good idea, but Costco isn't doing that. They're just setting up deals, and they're so big they can save money. So maybe if you don't mind spending between $20,000 and $100,000 for a car, you might check it out through Costco. Me, I wouldn't pay that kind of money for a car. I get the much cheaper used ones myself, but 689,000 people bought cars that way from Costco last year. Old Goku Boy says, I got an '02 Camry. It broke down October 2020. I just paid $1,400 for it, and the engine seized. They said it was a freak of nature accident. I paid $1,409 just to have it die on me. Here's the thing. You buy a used vehicle. It was 19 years old. Well, 18 when you bought it, because that was October 2020. Okay, so it's an 18-year-old car. You always want to have a mechanic check it out. Now, if you bought it from that mechanic for $1,409 and then soon after the engine seized up, I would just demand my money back from that guy. I'd say, you sold me a pile of junk. He says it's a freak of nature. Well, so many reasons that an engine can go out. Did it run out of oil? Did it overheat? And if it happened right after you bought it, obviously it had the problem to begin with, and the guy should be honest and give you your money back. If he's saying it's a freak of nature and he's not giving you your money back, hey, I hire a lawyer, because the law is if you buy a car from a mechanic, used car dealer or something, it has like a 30-day pre-existing condition warranty. If it blows up right after, then they're responsible because they're a mechanic and they're supposed to know what they're selling you. It's not like you bought it from some guy on the street. The same law applies, but they could never prove that the guy on the street knew. He's not a mechanic. So I don't know, the car was running when I sold it to you. But mechanics and used car dealerships, they're under a little bit more pressure to sell something that's decent. And if they sell it to you and it blows up the next day, hey, they're really accountable for that. Andrej One says, my family has two Audis, A6, A4, one with 300,000 miles, one with 210,000 miles. Super reliable cars if they have decent maintenance. What's the catch? Why do people hate them? All right, well, I don't know if you're a salesman or you work for Audi or you just got really lucky. The reason people hate them is because the dealerships are some of the biggest crooks on the planet. In Houston, I had customers with them, and when they showed me the bills when they had gone to Audi, the thousands and thousands and thousands they spent to get them repaired, and when I went to the Audi dealer, when I had to go to them to buy a part for a car that I couldn't get anywhere else, I came in my garage shirt. I guess they didn't know that it was Scotty, the famous YouTuber, and they treated me like dirt. They ignored me for 40 minutes because I'm just a mechanic in there, And meanwhile, their guys are all running around in three-piece suits kissing the rear ends of the people that they're trying to make money off. And I knew guys that were mechanics in the shops, and they'd say, yeah, we rip off those rich people by the Audis so much, we're just laughing at them once they leave. That's why people hate them. And they do break down an awful lot. I had a neighbor who was a corporate lawyer who had an Audi. And it broke down so much the tranny blew up when it had like 40,000 miles on it. And he had to pay for it out of his own pocket because it was too old. It was beyond the years of warranty, even though the mileage was low. That's why people hate him. Now, I don't know if you're telling the truth. You're not a customer of mine. If you were a customer of mine that had 300,000 miles, I'd say, well, yours did that. But I don't know if you're making it up. I just know how they're overpriced. Their parts are expensive. They really take their clientele to the cleaners when they work on the cars, and that's why people hate them. Saranza says, hey, I got a Hyundai Santa Fe. It burns oil. It's a 2015 2.0-liter turbo. I thought it could have been the oil. I tried different oils, but it keeps doing. What can I do? Well, you should have done what I would have told you in the first place, and that is don't buy a Korean car like a Hyundai. They burn oil as they age because they are cheaper made. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They are poorly made compared to like Toyotas and Hondas. And you didn't say the mileage, and you said you changed your oil religiously every 4,500 kilometers. So that's like what, 2,500 miles? You shouldn't have had any problems at all. It just shows you that the Korean cars are not built that well. Now, do change your PCV valve. Maybe that's clogged open and it's going to burn oil. But other than that, there isn't squat you can do. If you change the PCV valve and it still burns, just change your oil a lot and add it as it burns and live with it. And my advice, never buy another one, because you say you want your vehicle to last at least 500,000 kilometers, which is like, what, 270,000 miles. You should have bought a Toyota or Honda in the first place, and they would. Rarely do they make it that far. They're just not made as well. There's an interesting one in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They are now doing virtual car inspections for showing people how to put kids' car seats in the car and do it correctly. They're using Zoom. Nationally certified car passenger safety technicians show them all the instructions of hooking up the kids' car seats. It's free, but they go by appointment only. And only on every first and third Wednesday of the month between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. They're certainly not going out of their way to do it for very many people. Show people how to put in car seats. Now, they're car seats. They buckle in, right? And they come with directions when you buy them, too. So this kind of reminds me of a writer I was a fan of, Douglas Adams, the guy who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And he wrote in one of his later books that he gave up on the human race when a box of toothpicks came with directions. I kind of agree here. You're buying a kid's safety seat. It does come with directions. And all you got to do is watch a YouTube video. You know, hey, you're watching this on YouTube. Hey, watch a YouTube video instead. You know, there's plenty of great YouTube videos out there. And you don't have to make an appointment to watch them. And you don't have to, well, every second and third Wednesday from 11 to 1. No, you can watch them anytime you want. So I say bypass this entirely. You want to learn how to do it? Watch a YouTube video like everybody else does. Well, here's something maybe other people should do. There's a guy in Florida who's setting up street racing made legal so the kids don't kill everybody racing on the street, doing it in a controlled environment, not on normal streets. The guy's name is Mario Hito, and he's got a nonprofit organization called Street Racing Made Safe, where they get racing areas, set them up, and allow them to race. One of the reasons Mario set it up, because when his father was 36, he died in a street motorcycle race crash. So he's got very good reasons to set something like this up. So they're racing on the track, and they're doing it legally to get the kids off the street. They have lots of accidents, deaths from people racing on the street in Houston. The guys were always doing street racing. They often had crashes. Now, his street race company is the only national nonprofit solution for illegal street racing. Maybe other people should bring it out. There's only one problem, of course. And the problem is, if you participate, you got to pay $75 for the driver. If there's a rider, that's $25. So there's $100 right there. Now, most of these guys, they're kids. They're not going to spend $100. They're doing free on the street. That's the problem. It's a nonprofit, so maybe they should have a setup where they get some of the money, whatever they get it from promotional stuff, and they let the kids do it without having to pay. Because that's one of the reasons they're racing on the street. They don't have much money, so they're racing on the street where it's free. There are various classes of racing, like any kind of race place. But I can see the downfall of this particular one is it's going to be $100 a car with a passenger and a guy. That's going to keep a lot of the street races from coming. But, I mean, at least it's a good start. Maybe there's a way they can figure out how they can get the guys to do it for free and get promotional stuff, get these companies that make the cars, that make a fortune, put a little bit of their profit back into this so they make these fast cars. Maybe they should put some of that money back in so that the kids could race them for free at these places, and that would really keep them off the street if they found out it was free and they didn't have to pay for it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.